Welcome to part 3 of Telekinesis with gold, silver, and copper. We're going to see 3 experiments in this video with 3 objects in one glass container, then 3 objects in their own containers side by side, and then finally the 3 objects in their own containers front to back. And each one of these is quite interesting. In this one we see, it looks like I'm breathing vigorously, but this is sped up a lot, 20 times actual speed. But what's interesting about that is you can see that my body appears to be making these pumping motions. That's just how my breathing appears. But you can see the metal responding as if it's synchronized with my body. What's interesting also here is that copper seems to be very responsive. And if you remember from part 2, copper was giving me quite a hard time. But here it seems to be helping out more than the other two. And I've backed up and I come close again. Now we're looking at actual speed. And what I'm doing here for the next 3 minutes of this video is I'm going to leave it at actual speed, and it's really just a chance for us to become quiet and watch the motion. Those of you who are trying to learn how to do this, it's really important for you to see it in actual speed instead of sped up. Part of that is the development of patience, to understand that this is a really slow process. Sometimes the objects appear to have stopped moving completely, but it doesn't mean that it's time to give up at that point. It means that there's still a buildup of energy happening, and the movement will occur if you don't give up. So we see here that copper and gold are moving pretty well. And it's beautiful just to watch too. It's such a graceful movement. And sometimes both objects, the copper and the gold, will move at the same time, or one of them will move while the other one is at rest. Sometimes they'll move in the same direction or opposite directions. And for some reason, silver is being stubborn. I just don't have a connection with it during this particular experiment, so that's interesting to watch. So I'm just going to be silent now for the next couple of minutes, and then I'll start talking when the next experiment begins. So just enjoy, or if you want to skip ahead, just go to the 4-minute mark for the next experiment. Okay, now we're going to go to the next experiment where I have the 3 objects side by side, and I do 2 trials. In the first one, we've got copper on the left, gold in the middle, and silver on the right from your perspective. And we see here that silver is responding really well. And pretty soon, I think we're going to see copper moving on the opposite side. Let's wait and see. Yep, copper was wiggling a little bit there, but still no response from gold, which is interesting because I'm sitting right in front of gold. And if you remember from the first video, in one of the scenes there, gold was responding because it was closest to me, or that's just how it appeared anyway. So I'm trying a few things here now to try to get gold to move a little bit. Just trying to get it going by putting my hands close to it, to no avail. But still silver seems to be really linked up to me, and copper is wiggling still a little bit. And I've just got my hands in my lap. And silver is still going, and so is copper. So is there something about the energy on the left side of my body and the right side, but nothing in the middle? I wish I could see what was going on. So I put my hands up to the glass container to get gold going a little bit by forming a closer connection with it, and that seems to work a little bit, but not as much as I wanted. Again, I'm never satisfied just with putting my hands on the glass, because people could insinuate that I'm just heating up the air inside, causing convection. So maybe that's why I stepped away, to see if I could move it from a distance. And gold is responding a little bit now from the distance. And silver and copper are still going strong, which is great. But, you know, gold died out on me again, so I don't know what's going on there. One thing I've noticed during this day of working with the three metals is when I'm in tune with them individually, I sort of feel like a different part of my brain is in motion or vibrating or having some sensation according to the metal that I'm focusing on. I have to do more research on that to see if that's truly the case. But I had that feeling a couple times that when I was working with gold, my brain felt a little different than when I was working with silver. So here we see, as soon as I sat down for the second trial, silver responded right away. And this time silver's in the middle and gold is to the side. But it was just interesting. I sat down and silver just started going. It seems I've sped through that trial, and now we're doing the front to back thing. So I just sat in front of all of them. Gold is all the way on the right, silver's in the middle, and copper is closest to me. And I don't even have my hands near the containers. You can see my belly moving there on the left side, and copper seems to be moving. But there's gold all the way on the end. Gold, which had been really difficult in the previous experiments, seems to be responding really well now, and it's furthest away from me. So this doesn't make any logical sense. Of course, if anyone who's watching this as a researcher into parapsychology or psi phenomena, I think you'll understand what I'm talking about when I say that none of this makes logical, rational sense. I think people who study ESP or remote viewing or other phenomena have the same experience, that sometimes it just does not make any sense to the logical mind. I even put my hands up to the silver in the middle, and the gold responds instead, and the silver is not moving at all. And earlier on in the day, silver was my go-to metal. It was being really friendly with me, and now it's not doing anything. But gold is doing just fine, and so is the copper. So I don't think we got any great answers to our questions in this video series, but I think this is really about asking good questions. That's a great starting point. So thank you for watching.